grandfather gets here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask him if I can use his phone, and I'm gonna call my father and see if he answers. And if he does, I'm gonna find out if that's true or not. And if it's true, that's fine. I may just come back on here and do a tell-all interview about my dad and stepmom and everything I know. I've been around them. Like, but then again, I don't want to do that. No, I ain't gonna do that, even if they do it. That is fucked up. You don't do that to people. Like, my dad has no reason to hate me except for, and that's why you said that only because you had said out your own mouth, filthy, only Terri would be doing it. So that leads me to believe that my dad ain't got no interest in doing it. And the only reason she would is because she don't like me and she probably wishes things were like different in some ways that she really don't have any business or say so over, and y'all are feeding and playing off that angle, and that's sick. That's sick if that's true. I hope to God you're lying. Oh, it better not be. Kayla ain't got no morals, and my pussy ass don't have no. I ain't no pussy, so fuck you. No, I'm not unblocking anybody. This is just what I'm talking about. Like, what the fuck, man? My stepmom does not know me because she purposefully doesn't have a relationship with me. She knowed me in the past. So her talking about anything to do with me in the past is really not going to have a shit bearing on today because who I was back in 2013 is very different than today. That was a decade ago. Here, again, a decade. These people are trying to bring up people from my past to talk about shit from a decade ago. Doesn't make any damn sense. Oh my God. Well, you can come back on up. Oh, man. You want to know what got me had a gun pulled on me? Let me explain it to you. All right, so I'm driving in the snow in Nashville, out in the fucking country and shit in
Jody,
Murfreesboro.
Jody.
I'm,
Let's not talk about
I'm baby.
morals, man. Your whole fucking working verse ain't got no
No, hold
morals.
on,
What's
hold on,
wrong with
hold on.
the gay community down
I,
there you associate with?
I,
It ain't
I'm
about
driving
hate.
down in the snow.
About not
Hey
having no
man, I'm
morals.
driving down. I'm listen, dude. I'm driving down in the snow. I get like 20 miles away to our destination. I'm babysitting. All right, my stepbrother. We get to his dad's house, and for some reason his dad's not there. Now this wasn't to be expected. His dad was supposed to be there. When we got up there, then he thought, well, he must be went to the VA. So I said, do you know where the key is? He was like, yeah. And he looked around, but he couldn't find it. So I looked at the lock, and his door happened to be unlocked or whatever. So I opened it up, and I said, all right, look, we're gonna tell him because we were at the back door. It just happened to be unlocked. So I told him, when I looked at the lock and I checked it and it was open, I was like, we're gonna tell him now that we came in here, without a key and everything, because I don't want him to think nothing. So we went in there and we just basically waited on his dad to get there. I played some games with him, made him something to eat, and his dad came home. I told him, and then, I ended up leaving later when the snow had stopped and everything else. Now, before anybody says, well, what made you think it was all right to go into a house that wasn't yours? Okay, here's the thing. I was supposed to be taking him over there already, and it was snowing, so it was not safe, especially it was getting worse and worse on the way there to drive back. So I got in the car, I left when it was time, and I got home. I sat down on the couch and I took a nap. My stepmother came in, slammed the door, and started basically going off, yelling at me like a madman, telling me that I needed to leave, get out, and everything else. She went upstairs and started throwing my stuff downstairs. Like, yeah, I mean, chucking it, drawers and all, cabinet, plastic cab, all that stuff, books. So I got the stuff that I could, cleaned up and organized. And she came back down eventually and she said, you're gonna go out. And I said, I'll leave. Just let me find as soon as I get my phone. And she said, no, you're gonna go out now. And she pulled a gun on me at that moment. And I put my hands up. I was probably 20 feet away from her. I put my hands up. I walked outside. I closed the door. I ran next door to the neighbor's house. I called the police. Then she tried to call the police. They got there. I explained what happened. She explained her side. They told me, let me get my stuff and had me leave. But they almost kind of sided with her, even though they couldn't do anything because, she basically told them, like, she tried to say I broke in his house. I didn't break in his house. Like, I was supposed to take him over there to babysit. There was a miscommunication, obviously, between him and her, and him deciding to up and go to the VA and us coming over there. And she was gone to work. My dad was gone to work. I wasn't going to call them. I didn't have her ex's number. So that's what she got mad about, and that's what she pulled a fucking gun on me over. She could have shot and killed me. So you want to have an interview with her? Okay.
Sound like she got anger
She also
management issues.
she also put my dad in a
Issues.
freaking jail. She also put my dad in jail because when my dad was still drinking and she was drinking, they got into an argument one night. And my dad, no, I'm dropping this shit since they want to fucking say they're gonna, and I wouldn't doubt maybe he is telling the truth. I hope, if they're just saying this to get me to run my mouth, well then, oh well. I mean, I kind of should do it anyways for that one call that they fell for anyways when I already told them long time ago not to fall for any calls or get reported. But moving on, moving on, moving on, man, like, you know, he locked the door and went to bed, and my dad had concealed carry, in Tennessee. He sleeps with his gun underneath him. She busted the door open so loud that it woke him up, and he, by instinct, grabbed his gun, no finger on the trigger, but did grab it and point it towards her direction, until he had the flashlight on and he could see who it was. And he was like, oh, it's you, and he put it down. All right. She got offended by that and was mad already at him from being drunk and all that, and that drunk alcohol intensifying it. She calls the police. They come, they fucking pulled my dad out of bed while he's asleep and handcuff him to the chair and basically like kind of give him an interrogation there at the table. And then they take him off to jail for the night. And then the next day I had to take his truck, go over there, meet a bail bondsman, and pick him up and get him out. So they want to talk some shit about me. Shit. I mean, and I'm not even trying to talk shit about them. That's the truth. That's what happened in both instances. I'm not fibbing one iota. That's 120,000% the full truth. You can get a subjective experience from someone else if you want. I mean, but obviously all it don't matter when you've already got all the facts and the details of what and why and how it happened. Like, that is exactly what happened. And that's why I couldn't stay with them anymore. That's why I came back home to Missouri. I went and finished my job up for 2 weeks, earned my paycheck, and then when I had enough money, I drove back home and moved back home. Stayed on a friend's couch after I had to leave. That's what happens when your dad marries somebody new. My dad had a girlfriend when I was younger, And I never had that much issues growing up with her. She tried to teach me and help me grow up and stuff and be responsible. I'd struggle with that, but other than that, she was nice. Like I still see her every now and then today. She's a good person. But this woman, no, she don't like me. She don't like my brother. She wrote my grandmother a pretty ugly letter one time about me and my brother and everything and her and what she thought. She is, you know, yeah, she's done some amazing stuff and she's a professional and, she's got a good record. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing wrong with her, you know. But she does, I mean, other than the fact she's got some misplaced anger issues and hatred for people that she is related to. So that's all I'm saying about my stepmom and my dad.